How's it going, everybody? Today, I'm going to be going over the top 5 players the Packers should target in free agency 2024. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start off by just going over some of the top targets available. Um, there's a lot of them that I do not think the Packers will go after, let alone be able to go after. And I think a lot of these guys that you see on the screen right now will probably end up getting re signed, such as maybe a Chris Jones and Christian Wilkins, Josh Allen. I think all those guys will get re-signed, as well as probably Montez Sweat and Brian Burns. I think T. Higgins has a good shot of ending up somewhere else. Um, yeah, Pittman, Antoine Winfield, which we'll see in this video. I think a lot of these guys in the top 20, like I already mentioned, will get re-signed. So I do not have many of those guys in this video. All right, so for my number one target that the Packers should attempt to sign this free agency is Buccaneer safety Antoine Winfield Jr. 25 years old, very young. He was a Pro Bowler in 2021. He was an All Pro this season, and he also led the league in forced fumbles this year. And I just wanted to go over a couple of his PFF grades. Um, in coverage grade with no pressure, he was a 73.2, which is pretty solid. Um, and in comparison to Jesse Bates in 2023, as 8 points higher than him. Slightly lower grade for throws within 3 seconds, with the 71 compared to the 80 with Jesse Bates there. His forcing completion rate was a 9%, which was 3% higher than Jesse Bates. And his run defense grade, that's the big one here, 93.4. That's very good for a safety. And I think that would help the Packers defense a lot. Um, he has had a number of interceptions, which is good in this Jeff Halfley defense. You need a safety who's going to be that ball hawk, which I think Darnell Savage has the potential to be that guy, but it remains to be seen whether he'll get re signed or not. So I think safety is going to be a big target in free agency. And yeah, I think Antoine Winfield would be a perfect fit in Green Bay. And for my number two target here, I have Giants safety Xavier McKinney. He's another young guy at 24 years old. He finished top 10 in coverage and in the box in 2023. Um, he had 5 picks in 2021. So he's shown that he can go after the ball, which I mentioned before. We need a ball hawk back there at safety in this Jeff Halfley defense. He's a great tackler. A stat that I saw, which is actually pretty incredible, he has missed just 7.8% of his tackle attempts over his career, which is 11th best among 89 safeties with at least 100 tackles over the past 4 years. So we saw some guys missing tackles this year, specifically in San Francisco in the divisional round of the playoffs. And a guy like Xavier McKinney would help a lot with that. And I think bringing in Jeff Halfley will also help with that, just because of how soft Joe Barry's defense has been the last couple seasons. So I think that will help, but also Xavier McKinney's a very good tackler, and that brings a lot of value to this Jeff Halfley defense. So I think he would be another perfect fit if the Packers are not able to get Antoine Winfield Jr. All right, and at number three, I've got Ravens linebacker Patrick Queen. I think this is probably the most unlikely that I have on my list. And reason being because I think he'll end up going back to Baltimore. I think if the Packers did end up getting Zach Orr at defensive coordinator, I think this would have been much more likely. But I don't see it happening necessarily. He's on the list because he would be a perfect fit, and I would love the pairing with him and Quay Walker. Um, but yeah, he's a very good player. Pro Bowler this year, as well as second team All Pro. He had career highs in run defense and coverage grades. Overall, he's a very good young linebacker that I think a lot of Packers fans would love to have. He's a guy that I wanted the Packers to draft back in 2020. I think that panned out for us, being that we got Jordan Love, but it would still be great to have Patrick Queen, and he would be a perfect fit, although it might be unlikely. And for my number four target, I have Kyle Duggar, Patriots safety. I know I've got a lot of safeties on this list, but I do believe it's the Packers' biggest need. Um, and Kyle Duggar is a pretty solid third option here. 27 years old, very good in run defense. He's basically a safety linebacker hybrid. He does get a lot of interceptions. He led the league in pick sixes in 2022. Now, it wasn't very many, but that's besides the point. Still led the league. Um, and like I had already mentioned a couple times before, a ball hawk safety is a big need. Now, I don't believe Kyle Duggar is necessarily going to be a ball hawk safety, but he has the potential to be. And with his run defensive skills, I think he would be a perfect fit if the other two options don't pan out. All right, and for my fifth and final player on this list, I have my first offensive player, which is Rams guard Kevin Dotson. He's the only offensive player I have on this list, mainly because I believe defense is where most of the priority should be on. The offense is young and developing. I feel like most of those pieces are in place. Guard is the one question mark that I have. Tackle a little bit as well. But Kevin Dotson, I believe, would be a very good option if the Packers do lose John Runyon to free agency. Um, Kevin Dotson's a very good run blocker. As you can see, career high 88.8 run blocking grade in 2023. His pass blocking grade did drop to a 68.3, which was his career low. But 68.3 is still a very good floor. And if that is what his lowest would be for the rest of his career, that would still be very good. No, I shouldn't say very good, very solid. 70 plus would be where you would want him to be, pushing 80s maybe, but he's a very solid player. He has that West Coast offense familiarity, being with Sean McVay this year in the Rams. I think he would be a very good fit in Green Bay, and I don't think he would cost a lot to bring in either. All right, well, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop a like down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And subscribe if you'd like to see some more Packers content. I'll have some more mock drafts coming soon, as well as some Brewers content as spring training gets kicked off. So, yeah, subscribe. And until next time, go Pack Go.